Video, Purple Political Talk here. Today is Saturday, November 27th, 2021. And today we're going to be looking at the race to the Whitehouse.com and their Senate forecast. So this is one of the few Senate forecasts that has been released out there. Before we've had the FiveThirtyEight forecast, for example, The Economist. Since it is still early on in the election season, we're still a year away from the Senate elections, we do not have that much data available to us to see what we have. So the race to the Whitehouse.com is currently what we have, and I want to analyze it and show you guys and share with you this information. But before we do begin, I want to remind you guys to like, subscribe, and to turn on post notifications to be up to date with our latest content, and also that Purple Political Talk channel members are now open. If you would like to become a channel member, you could do so by pressing the link down in the description or the join tab next to the subscribe button. Now that we've gotten all of this out of the way, let's get started with the video. So overall, Senate chances and odds right now are dead even. We have to remember that when we talk about probability or chances, 50-50 is just flip a coin. That's what's going to happen. And when we talk to probability, that does not equate the number of seats. It does not equate the total margin, because chances are just the probability of it happening. I mean, you could have a race that's going to be tight, but someone cannot win. That's going to be 100% chance of winning, even though the margin could be 1 or 2%. So the first thing I wanted to do is show you guys this Senate chart. So as of right now, this is what they're being looked at. So they're called by safe, favored, and the ones that are still not for re-election. We have to remember that in the Senate, only certain seats are up for re-election, about 1/3 of the Senate. So when we take a look at this, we see 30 seats for the Republicans. So they're a little behind when it comes to seats that they do not have to defend. And we see that with 12 seats for the Democrats are favored, where we see the margins, and we're going to talk about what those seats are. 90 seats favored for the Republicans, and 3 total seats that are completely a toss-up for either party. So that's something that's going to be interesting to see. On your screen right now, you will be seeing a map of what the election could be looking like. As we can see, there's a lot of states where, the Democrats are favored. There's others where the Republicans are favored. You have your safe states, which traditionally 9 times out of 10 you're going to be seeing going for the Democrats or the Republicans. Places like Washington, Oregon, California, these places are not changing. Now, when we look at the states that are a little bit lighter, those are the states that are going to be close states when we come to this election. New Hampshire, this is a state that Chris Sununu is not running, and if he does choose to run, then this race changes a little bit. As of right now, it's projected to go for more for the Democrats. Georgia, a state that the Republicans have the possibility to. I don't know, Raphael Warnock has certain capabilities, which I think he's going to be able to do well in. But take a look at the rest of these places. Iowa, Ohio, Wisconsin. These are states that a lot of people thought that they would be long gone for the Republican Party. And keep in mind, I think these margins are certainly a little bit off. I don't think Republicans are going to be winning by nowhere near 8.8% when it comes to the Senate races. However, I think that this does give us a good idea of where things are trending. And I generally agree with this map. Places like Nevada, Arizona, Pennsylvania, these are going to be tight races. And ultimately, those are going to be the factors that decide the Senate. Now, I think it's also important to see how things have changed. So when we look at the possibilities of winning, chances of winning, we see Democrats have gained in some races. New Hampshire, I think, notably, I think this is one of the races that was actually trending Republican. However, since Chris Sununu announced that he's running for re-election, which means, technically speaking, he can run for Senate. There's that possibility that he drops out of the governor's race, but that's unlikely. This race has shifted heavily into the Democrats' favor. As for everyone else in this race for the Republicans, Arizona, Nevada, Georgia, Florida, Ohio, we've seen them increase the amount of votes. And Republicans are generally better off right now than they were a couple of months ago. Why? You see that Republicans have a lot of momentum. They have a lot of things that are supporting them when it comes moving forward. And the Democrats aren't helping themselves. Take a look at Virginia. I think that a lot of the things that we saw in Virginia could be something that could be mirrored in many Senate elections across the country. And we've seen the average increase for the Republicans. Now, something that I find interesting is while the chance of winning has increased for the Republicans, the average number of seats has decreased. Now, this is going to be something that I think is definitely going to change. Who knows at this point what's going to end up happening? We still have, almost over a year until the Senate elections, and certainly things can shift. Certain states that we thought could have been going to the Democrats go to the Republicans. Certain states that we thought would be going to the Republicans go Democratic. But I think that, of course, it's going to be something that's going to be the thing that really does change. And lastly, out of these, changes in the map, we have the characterizations. For example, California before was likely Democratic for some reason. Now it's safe Democratic. New Hampshire was a toss-up. I mean, Chris Sununu, he was very, very adamant almost to a point that people really thought he was going to run. That made a race a toss-up. Now it is tilt. Take a look at all these states, and I think this is going to be what's really going to hurt the Democrats. There's a lot of places where they have lost ground. Arizona, Connecticut, Florida, Illinois, Ohio. This is going to be a problem for them. Remember, defending seats is harder than you're going on the offense and trying to win them. So that's something that's going to be very interesting to see and watch during this race. Now, here's another important graph that we can see. Chances of winning. Again, I think that this graph shows exactly what this 2021 year has been about. Throughout most of the year, the Democrats were really on a very strong up and down, but generally doing well. Now, we saw August, and they didn't update the forecast for a little bit until a couple days ago, and we're seeing that the Republicans have made massive gains when it comes to the Senate and the possibilities of winning it. You would have asked me, and if you can go back and you can watch my videos from a couple months back about the U.S. Senate, you could really ask, you could say, well, how could the Republicans be doing so, or how could the Democrats be doing so well? Today, it would be a different story. Back a couple months ago, the Democrats were doing strong. The map looked more favorable towards the Democrats. However, that is no longer the case, as you can see here. It's slightly favored for the Republicans to win. Now, when it comes to average of seats, this has changed completely as well. We've seen Democrats lose or gain, a couple seats. Again, all of this is important moving forward because we're seeing an upward trend for Republicans. So now I think this is one of the most interesting graphs, in my opinion. It shows the probability of finishing up a number of seats won by Democrats. So anything here would be a majority when it's red, and anything in the blue is, blue. And again, this is also very interesting because statistically we know about the bell curve, and this is a perfect bell curve almost. I think at this point, if we can see, it's pretty much evenly split. If the graph was much more towards here, more blue, we would certainly see, Democrats doing strongly. And right now, it's pretty much a dead heat. So it's going to be very hard choosing a winner. And a lot of these races have certainly shifted a lot. There's individual races we can take a look at. We can take a look at Florida, where, Marco Rubio is doing strongly, and Val Demings is going to have to defend her seat. We can look at places like Arizona, where Mark Kelly's going to have to go against the Republican coalition that is building up. In Nevada, we have Catherine Cortez Masto and Adam Laxalt going at it. There's a lot of these races that counter choice and things that happen during the campaign are going to have a more of a lasting impact than some polls may say. So the Senate races are still up in the air, and I think it's a very interesting forecast. You can go check it out yourself at racetothewh.com. And yeah, so I want to thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If so, please give it a huge thumbs up, like, subscribe, turn on post notifications to be up to date with our latest content. Again, thank you guys so much for watching, and goodbye.